Hello, and welcome to the Second Chapter Variety Show, where we mix cosmic magic with a whole lot of business mastery. I'm your host, Hunter Louder, your friendly guide to business astrology, here to help you navigate your career's second act with the wisdom of the stars and innovative business strategies. Whether you're new to astrology or have been stargazing since day one, this podcast is your go-to for discovering who you truly are and aligning your business with your unique astrological blueprint. We're going to get real about what actions to take to build a perfect fit business. Each week, you can expect a mix of cosmic insights, practical business tips, and lots of laughter. Whether I'm chatting with guests who've embraced their own second chapters or diving into astro business wisdom, there's always something you can take away and apply to your own business.
Okay, so you might be thinking, how on earth could astrology possibly make my business more fun? I get it. Everyone has their own tools that work for them. Astrology wasn't always my guiding star either. I played around with it as a teen, checking horoscopes like they held the secrets to surviving teenage angst. But it really wasn't until I stumbled upon the magical intersection between business and astrology that I got completely hooked. And come on, when JP Morgan says millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do, you've got to admit it makes you think twice. Now, before you picture me with a crystal ball, let me clarify. Astrology isn't about fortune telling or predicting your future. It's more like a GPS that helps you navigate life's twists and turns with a bit more confidence and a lot more insight. With astrology, you have a blueprint that helps you build a business that not only supports your strengths, but also makes the whole journey more joyful, purposeful, and yes, profitable. When I hit burnout, I didn't know who I was outside of my CEO identity, which was compounded by the fact that as a Gemini sun, I'm naturally talented at being 700 different people all within one day. So astrology really became my go-to tool, helping me reconnect with my true self and discover how to build a business that feels truly aligned and maybe even a little bit magical. In the last episode, you heard my husband interview me, and I shared my story of burnout and how I found my way to business astrology. This week, he's going to be interviewing me again, and we're diving into the basics of astrology, what it is, how it works, and how it can be a game changer for your business. If you're curious or have questions, I'd love to hear from you. Come connect with me on TikTok at Second Chapter Society, the YouTube channel at Second Chapter Society, or visit me at the website at secondchaptersociety.com. Send in your questions, and who knows, I will likely answer them in a future episode. All right, let's dive in and explore how astrology can help you create a business that's not just successful, but also soul aligned. Enjoy.
All right, everyone. We had an amazing first episode last week. Are we ready for number two?
Woo!
Today, we're going to dive into the basics of astrology, what exactly it is, and how it can benefit our listeners' businesses.
Exactly. So astrology is often misunderstood. I have been dabbling in it since I was probably 14, 15 years old. And it wasn't until very recently that I really explored as to how it could be used in your day-to-day life, as well as in your business and career. So I just want to clarify what astrology is, how it can be a game changer in your business. So at its core, astrology really is the study of movements and positions of celestial bodies like the sun, the moon, planets, asteroids, stars, etc., and basically how that movement influences us here on Earth. So it's not just about predicting the future, it's about really understanding ourselves, our strengths, our challenges, and how to align our actions with the natural rhythms of the universe.
Well, that sounds fascinating. But for someone who's completely new to astrology, where should they start? Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Sure. So, as we talked about last week about the big three, which is really like your astrological signature. So, this is your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. So, that's a great place to start. Your sun sign is probably what people are most familiar with when you say, what's your sign? That's your sun sign. But it really represents your core identity, your essence. Your moon sign is all about your emotions, how you nurture yourself, and what you need to feel secure. And then there's your rising sign, which, as I mentioned last week, is how you present yourself to the world and the first impression that you really make on others.
Well, that absolutely makes sense. How does it all come into play in your business?
Yeah, you're right. There's so much to explore. I like to say that I could do a reading for someone probably every single day for the rest of their life and find something new to talk about. We are incredibly complex beings. Our charts are incredibly complex, and most people just look to the sun sign and think that's all astrology is, but that's such a small part of it. Generally, your astrological chart includes planets, houses, aspects, which are basically how the planets relate to each other. And these all influence different areas of your life, including your career, your home life, your
travel, your ability to learn languages. So, for example, an angle in your chart called the midheaven, which is also called the MC, and that represents your career and public life. And it starts the 10th house, which is the house of career and public persona. So, just by looking at that angle, we really can understand a lot about how you can align your business with who you truly are.
Oh, that's super interesting. So, how can astrology actually benefit someone's business? I know you mentioned last week timing decisions and understanding ideal clients. Can you expound on that a little bit more?
Absolutely. So, like I've talked about, the number one way that I've used astrology with my clients really to help in self discovery so they can align their business with who they are and hopefully avoid burning out either for the first time or again. However, you can use astrology really for anything in your business, like timing decisions. So, knowing when Mercury is in retrograde, which I'm sure you hear that all the time, Mercury is in Gatorade or all those jokes online. But if you know when Mercury is in retrograde, you can avoid launching new projects or signing major contracts during that time when communication, technology, travel can be more challenging. You really can also understand strengths and weaknesses, not only for yourself, but let's say you have a team in your business, whether that's employees, contractors, business partners, you can even better understand who you're working with and their strengths and weaknesses and how you can help them in your business based on the astrology. You can also align your business with your purpose. So your chart can really show you what your purpose is in this life, and you really can align your business with that deeper purpose, which makes your work more fulfilling. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg for examples. So, astrology is really a cosmic blueprint for your life and business. Once you start exploring it, you really will see how much insight it can provide.
Well, you make it sound like there is a lot to uncover, but it also sounds very doable. For someone who's just starting out, what's the first step they should take?
So the first step is really to run your natal chart. With the power of technology now, they used to do it by hand, but now you can just go to some websites like astro.com or astro-charts.com. And basically you put in your birth location, your time from your birth certificate if you have it, and your date of birth. And it will print out this chart with tons of angles and glyphs and everything else. But really from there, what I recommend you look at is your big three. So your sun, your moon, and your rising. Once you get familiar with those, you really can start exploring other parts of your chart, like your midheaven and your houses, how you communicate, how you expand, how you are abundant, etc. And the key really is to take it one step at a time. Like I mentioned before, astrology really is like a lifelong journey. You don't need to, and you can't. Learn it all at once. And so just kind of trust that what you need to learn right now is exactly what you're learning, and so starting with the basics and then really see, don't just learn who you are, look at your business or look at the business that you want to start and really see how that resonates with your business. And what can you do? What minor shifts can you make? What tweaks can you make to really start bringing more of who you truly are into your business, day to day?
Well, it sounds like a great way to gain some valuable insights. Our listeners can find that information on your website, right? Secondchaptersociety.com. They can access a chart on the website.
Yes, we'll have that information in the show notes as well.
All right, fantastic. Do you have any final thoughts or advice for the listeners who are curious about integrating astrology into their business?
Well, I mean, it just might be my Gemini sun talking, but my biggest piece of advice is to stay open and curious. Astrology is an amazing tool for self discovery and alignment, but it's not a magic bullet. It's really a guide. And when you're an entrepreneur or you're starting your own business or you have a huge multi-million-dollar business, there's so many decisions to make day to day in your business. And so this is really just a tool that helps you know what direction to go in that's best aligned to you so that it's going to be as easy and effortless as possible. So it's really a guide, a way to understand yourself and the energies that are at play in your life. So if you align your business with these energies, you really can create something that is not only successful and profitable, but also really deeply fulfilling and feels very purposeful. So remember, there's always something new to learn in astrology. So even if you just explore one aspect of your chart each week, it really can provide insights that you hadn't considered before. So I recommend, as with most things, have fun and see where it leads you.
All right, well, that's great advice, Hunter. I'm sure our listeners are eager to start exploring their charts right now. What can they look forward to next week?
So next week, we're going to dive even deeper into how you can use astrology to build an aligned business that feels like a true extension of who you are. We're going to explore specific ways to integrate astrology into your business strategy. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, I'd love to hear from you. Like, what questions do you have about astrology and your business? Feel free to send them in, and I might just answer them live in a future episode. Like we mentioned earlier, you also can connect with me on website at secondchaptersociety.com, on TikTok, or on YouTube. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Second Chapter Varieties Show. Stay cosmic, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to shoot me a message on TikTok or connect with me on YouTube. Links can be found below in the show notes. Until next time, keep building your business with mastery and a sprinkling of magic.